So yesterday I had a friend tell me, yeah, I've been into this lifting for about a week now, and I know it's kind of silly to think, yeah, where are the gains and stuff. Um, but whatever, I'll get back into it. And yeah, sure, that might have been like a fleeting thought, but I guess unpack that a little bit. Me personally, I feel like I didn't look like I lifted until like just a few months ago. I've been lifting for about 3 years now. And yeah, it's 2 years of where I was lifting weights. I was doing all the things that made muscle building happen, but it wasn't happening. Now, I understand now that I wasn't focusing on isolations. Uh, I was pretty much doing a more quote unquote advanced starting strength thing, following a base building peak thing. But I wasn't doing any isolations for the arms, for the shoulders, abs, calves, uh, all the sections of the back. I wasn't doing any of that. I was just kind of sticking to the main lifts and secondary movements of the main lifts. And then I got even more specialized, stopped really caring about the other main lifts, and just focused on the squat. And once I started focusing on the squat, I realized I had to focus more on like hinging movements too. So it turned into just focusing on the squat and deadlift. Um, and from all that time, at least I can say is my squat form is really good now. It can be better, but that was the goal, and I met that goal, and now I can move on to the next thing. Um, but I just don't want my friend to stop lifting weights just because he might not look like he lifts in however long. Because I kind of remember back then, like in my second year of lifting, like people would, say, yeah, you kind of look like you lift, whatever, whatever. Or they say, yeah, you look like you lift. So maybe that was just anorexia in my mind where I was like, nothing's ever good enough, nothing's whatever. But then if other people see it, then, there has to be some kind of merit to that. But then again, there isn't too much merit in that because other people can see very hinged forward, fucking parallel squat and be like, wow, it's so strong. But if I see that, I'm like, well, okay, cool. Well, you did 400 on that, but I'm sure if you actually went all the way down with your feet more close together, you would struggle with 180. So I don't want to even hear it. I don't want to see it. Get out of my business. Yeah, pretty much. I just don't want him to stop lifting because it will take a while, and it's really difficult for me to say when he'll look at himself and be like, okay, cool, yeah, I look like I lift. It could be several months, it could be a year, it could be multiple years. But as long as we're putting in the effort, as long as we're executing the exercises, as long as we're applying volume to these muscle groups, things are happening regardless. I mean, it's like, okay, fine, we don't look like we lift, but what did we do today? Oh, I did a bunch of rear delt flies, I did face pulls, I did pull-ups, I did chest flies, push-ups, pull-ups, I did knee raises, sit-ups, I did a whole bunch of things. Okay, great. Now, what if we didn't do any of that? So what's the alternative? What's the alternative to not lifting weights? It feels very disgusting, for someone just to quit lifting. Like, oh well, I've lifted and I don't look like I lift, So I just better stop lifting. Well, now we lose 2 times. Now we look like we don't lift and we don't lift, you know. Um, but let's just choose the alternative and just lift until we look like we lift, you know. That's what I'm doing. And it bothers me that I don't meet strength standards or I'm not aesthetic or anything, but I do lift and I lift well. Like nobody can take that from me, you know. And I'm not some like form guru or anything, or it's like if you're not doing it like this, then it doesn't count, and that means I'm stronger than you. I don't even mean it like that. I'm just saying I lift. Other lifters look at my lifting and say, yeah, that's pretty dope. And especially now in the past several weeks or something where I'm applying isolation movements more seriously into my lifting. Uh, well, I think the only thing I can really say is my shoulder looks like it's separated from my arm now. Like I can actually see, like, okay, there's where the shoulder starts and here's where the arm starts. Like, and that's me being like, oh, I guess all these isolations are working and stuff. But but I don't know. I mean, I can't. I mean, that must really be bad. Because if the main goal for most people is just to look like they lift, and then because like if we went and studied like an hour a day in a certain something, and it's several weeks, we're going to get more understanding from it and know more stuff. But with lifting, yeah, we could literally spend several months, a year, couple years, and not look like we lift. And if that's the goal, then and it should be the goal, because I don't want us to devolve into a person. It's like, oh, I just care about my numbers, bro. Like, if I do a certain weight at the certain reps, if I do that or whatever, like, yeah, I'll get stronger muscles. Like that's how it works. I'm getting stronger, so that means I have to build muscle. And it's like our form can turn into shit just for a higher number. Like I said, right now I back squat 275 ATG with my feet close together, toes pointed slightly at an angle. But if I went and did parallel with a wider stance, I'd do 350. So that doesn't matter. That if I do 275 today and then 350 tomorrow, that doesn't mean I automatically gained a lot of muscle. That just meant, okay, cool, now I'm using different leverages and or a lot more leverages, and now I'm not doing a specific knee flexion movement. So right, the main goal should be for us to look like we lift, but then we can also find other things to appreciate and then yeah, if we do like higher numbers, then cool, yeah, like I don't feel like there's anything wrong with going into a peak phase. Just spend 8 weeks in a peak phase or whatever, and then get out of it, and then go back to several months of whatever base building. Well, there's nothing wrong in chasing actual strength. I really think it's dope to do sets of 5, triples, doubles, singles. I think that's cool, but a lot of other people, they don't like that, and but then again, my training is like different. Like I like doing the snatch and clean and jerk, and there's just a lot of people that don't like those movements. And the snatch and clean and jerk is pretty much like the goal is to be able to 1 rep max however much in those movements. So then So then that's why it's always kind of cool to like chase 1 rep max on front squat, back squat, deadlift and stuff. Um, yeah, this stuff's very weird. It's very weird how other like fitness tubers and stuff they can just talk about this stuff like, yep, whatever. Yeah, several months, you're gonna blah blah blah. Your several months, that's your newbie gains, okay? Then you're gonna wanna do the bridge or the whatever intermediate program, okay? And then your first big newbie gains 20 pounds of muscle, okay? Then you stop gaining all the muscle. Then your next year it's only 2 years. Then your next year it's only 2 pounds of muscle. And the next year it's only 1 pound of muscle. And it's like in my third year or in my last half of my third year, I looked like I gained way more muscle than I ever did in my 2.5 years of initial training. So where are they with that? And I know it's because I just started concentrating on my isolation movements more. You know, um, so that's bullshit when people say, "Oh yeah, yep," because whose first year, first several months of training are they doing everything uh, correctly? That's part of his journey is building more of an understanding of what's going on and whatnot. Like, my friend, the guy I've been talking about, like he's doing lifts, uh, but I guarantee a month from now he's gonna think of those lifts differently, and then a month from later he's gonna have more understanding of what those lifts are doing, and we're just gonna keep building understanding. That's what happened to me with all of my lifts. That's part of this whole lifting journey. So that's why it fucking bothers me when there's people that look really good. They have like all the muscle and all the aesthetics and stuff, really strong, but they don't know shit about programming. They don't know how to like talk about anything regarding the lifts, uh, and that's all it is how to lift and then how to program. Those are like the most important things, and those are the things that just get scoffed over, or it's just like bullshit. It's just like make it sound like they know what they're talking about. Like, oh yeah, you do it like this, you do it like that. That targets this, blah 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 blah. Like they'll do a fucking compound movement, and they'll be like, this is what's really targeting that, and it's like, no, it's a compound movement. There's several, sections at work. There's no targeting, you faggot. If you want to target something, you do an isolation, But that's here. That's for like a different topic. So so I guess that's why it's just really rare to see people that lift or you know have okay bodies or whatever because of bullshit like this, because like the gains don't happen and whatnot. And it's like I'll have my head stuck in YouTube fitness, and I just look at all the shreds and the muscles, and I'll be like, wow, darn. Sometimes I'll get inspired. A lot of times I'll just be like, oh man. But then I go look in the outside world, and I'm like, wow, like most of these people can't even do a fucking pull up. And I feel like if we just stopped looking at the end goal, the end game, just being like, oh, okay, I did a set of push-ups today, and I don't look like Jeff Side, so I better fucking stop. It's like, why can't we just go, okay, I did a set of push-ups today, so what if let's see if I can do more push-ups tomorrow, let's see if I can do more push-ups the next day, et cetera, et cetera. Like, why can't that be the goal? Why can't the goal be like, in the next month, I want to be able to say I can kick my last month's person's ass, which is against science, because as we get older, our younger selves are supposed to be beat up our older selves. But if we're over here training and getting stronger, then we will be able to beat up our past selves. Like that should be the goal, just be better than who we were before. And that's it, okay, fine. We're not going to look like Jeff Side. We're not going to look like whoever. We're not going to look like Mr. Muscle Man. Okay, well, whatever, you know? Because I've had a lot of people like talk to me negatively and stuff about how I don't meet certain strength standards and I don't look good. And it's like, okay, well, I know for me, I'm stronger and better than I was last month. And I know for them, physically, I mean, they're just not. And that's fucking depressing because they should. Even if they don't want to lift 6, 7 times a week, they can go, 3 times a week at the very least and get some kind of progress. But nope, just whatever. They see the end goal and then they can't get that. So then what's even the point?